Yes, we're live. Welcome to Doug in Exile. Woo! I'm thrilled every time I can figure out this software, but it is, hope you're having a happy uh, day. It's a great day. I'm so thrilled to be wearing my Herculoids t-shirt by one of the greatest Hanna-Barbera cartoons of all time. We're just casually hanging out. I've got this Fani Willis article from Steve Sadow on what's next for Fani Willis. Everyone's going like, well, what now? And we already went over yesterday how the whole thing is a giant fiasco and completely over already. So don't get me wrong into thinking, oh, is Trump in trouble now? No, not in trouble, because Fani Willis has spilt her meal all down her shirt in public. And everyone's laughing at her, making fun of her. She is a giant mockery. And but this article we will go through and just read together, and I'll give you some of my internal insights because we're going to get a lot more guests on this topic. I'm getting very connected with a whole lot of the Fulton County, Georgia people through this whole thing, and kind of it's hard to gauge if Fani Willis is an evil genius, because how can she be this dumb? And you just keep going like, is she doing this on purpose? Is this like a giant rope-a-dope where she's trying to look like an idiot and she's going to come in with some kind of a haymaker? Or is she really this corrupt and ignorant and just flexing on her strength and political power that she has? Because that's what lazy, dumb people do is, they're kind of dumb and I got a boss. Hey, boss, take care of this for me. They're thugs. And so they don't have to read a book. They don't have to be good. Those of us who we're not born with connections, like normal people are not born with connections. You have to fight and scrap your way up. And Fani Willis just always enjoyed having Democrat support. And now let's get to some of you. There's San Francisco checking in. My people from Georgia are here. There's North Pole, Alaska. By the way, I think that's awesome. Okay. Hello from Fort Mojave. What's this one say? Wow, another live stream and got notified. Oh, you got notified for this live stream. That's great. This thing goes out to my members. If you guys have not subscribed yet, then you will not know about these things. So it's good to subscribe. You'll tend to get more notifications, especially if you ring the bell. And I'm kind of new to the live stream thing, guys. I'm still figuring this out. So I'm not super good at this yet. I'm still trying to learn it, and we will learn it together. All right. Oh, there's my Tennessee people right there. Leanne Whitley. Hello, my Tennessee people. I'm over here in Franklin. It's great to hear from you, my local people. I kind of like everyone. I like my family people in the chat. I've had one of the greatest family audiences. I came out of video games and comic books where the audiences were just much meaner. And now here in Exile, I've got all fun, great conservative families. They're Janet Pink Doodle. Hi, I'm from Georgia. I'm worried about all the corruption. Well, you and me both, Janet. The corruption is, it's concerning for all of us, but just because there's corruption out there, remember, the world goes on. So there's still good people living there in Georgia and in Fulton County, even though there's corruption. And it's not the end of the world yet. It destabilizes things, but you look, guys, there have been corrupt people all throughout our government, all throughout your states, forever, since the beginning. So the illusion is that it was one day pure. When I was a kid, it was pure. No, it was never pure. Okay, I want you to think of the dirtiest, worst moment at your public high school bathroom when you were a freshman in high school or sophomore or maybe in 8th grade. The kinds of things you saw and heard were a horror that would shock you, that I can't even imagine happens in some prisons. So don't get me wrong. It's not like, oh, when I was a kid, everything was pristine and pure. It's like, no, we've had corruption and bad times. have been around us, and there have been good people that stand up among it. And I'm just calling all of you to be the good people that stand up among it. We don't let the grift worry us too much. We don't let it get us down. We try to find connections with each other. That's another, if I can introduce a great grift to you guys, I've got a great grift for you guys to participate in. We started memberships here on the channel. I don't know anything about it. I'm just starting it. Okay, I think there's like a $5.99 level. I'm going to get up higher too. I'm going to do like $50 a month, $500 a month. It's going to be big, big money. But right now, tiny. If you just want to participate, you can get in and just join. I only need like 1 or 2 just to see if it even works. But I lower your expectations on what you get for membership. It's just really just a way for you to vote and say like, I'm with you, Doug. I want to support you. Okay. By the way, all of you who watch my videos, you're already supporting me plenty. So don't feel guilty. I don't want anyone to ever spend a dime on this channel. I'd rather take your time and have you watch a commercial before a show than have you ever spend a dime in the super chats. And now we're coming on the super chats now that I've said that. $9.99 super chat from R. Willis, New York 38. Trump in 2024, and that is exactly what we're marching towards, guys. And remember, that's the bottom line with Fani Willis. If Trump becomes president, she lost. She lost in the biggest way, in perhaps the only way possible. The Democrats do. So all of this lawfare stuff that you're seeing happen is purely to manipulate an election. If Trump becomes president, it was all for nothing. Jack Smith lost. I don't care how many of these indictments you get to stick to Trump, okay? Because Trump's reputation has already been slammed by everyone, making fun of his yellow straw-like hair, okay? So they've already got you to consider him being an orange man. They've already degraded him like a dog. And so it's not like suddenly going like, and guess what? We caught him. Fani Willis, this grifter, nailed him in a court and got him in trouble for interfering with an election. It's not like suddenly Trump's reputation is going to go in the toilet. It's already all baked in. And if you care, then you're probably a Trump hater. And if you're someone like me who doesn't care, it's because you're probably already convinced that the state is more dangerous than anything Trump did. How's that? Here's Michael Williams, $5 super chat. Hello, Doug. She thinks the whitewash house will save her. The White House will save her. I don't know about that, but yeah, let's find out what the White House is. I think the White House is going like, I think she's poison. They're going to go like, we don't want to, Biden's had an arm's distance from all this lawfare because he can't look like he's orchestrating it, or they'll think that he's orchestrating against his election opponent. So he has to pretend like there's an arm's distance there. That's why it's so controversial. If we can ever figure out about Fani Willis and Nathan Wade's visitations to the White House, there could be collusion there. Here's Josh became a YouTube member. Oh, look, they announced the memberships here on the show, guys. That's kind of cool. You're my first, Josh. You're number 1. My first ever Doug. It's called the Doug Club. The first ever Doug Club member. And I've been making little unique emojis and things for you guys to use in the chat and all that. So I don't want to oversell it. If it doesn't work out, guys, look, we'll end it. And most importantly, if you don't like being a member, you can quit at any time. You just back out and say, I'm done paying for this membership, okay? So it should be a low risk, low drama situation. Here's Louis Spitzer, $25 super chat right there. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. Let's get to this article here, because you guys are not going to let me read this article if I don't get going on it, right? How about if we make the article bigger, like so? Okay. Is that big enough for y'all? Because I can always zoom. I have a zoom button here that might help it out. Let me do this one. Zoom, zoom, zoom. I have a Cintiq over here on the right, which is a screen that lets me draw on the screen. So I can draw on the screen is where I make my thumbnails and stuff. And so here's the article. This is from Newsweek. About Steve Sadow, known as Professor Nez calls him the pit bull. Donald Trump lawyer shares next step to take down Fani Willis. So he's giving you the lowdown. Let's skip past all this frabba-jabba and all this garbage here. And I still got to make sure I can get to all of your super chats. So I might need to run through a few of those real quick too. Let me get up here. That's Louis Spitzer. Let me get to this one. Here's Lawrence Haley. Member. Lawrence Haley became a YouTube member. Good job, Lawrence. Thank you. Here's Douche Elias for $5. Fanny Pack has tainted all, including the justices. Do you think she has that big of an influence on McAfee? Because he just seems like, man, that's low-level grift, if that's true. Javier Garcia, $2. God bless you, Doug. God is with us. Hi from my people in Chicago. There's another member. Anna Squires became a YouTube member. Here's Schultz, 5186, became a member. There's Life with Reckless. That's my guy. He does our show a lot too. He does a lot of material on us. Life with Reckless, $5 super chat. Much love from the family. He's got a lovely wife and kid on his. He puts them on his channel a lot too. I like seeing them do their thing. So great to see you, Reckless. Thanks for the super chat. Here's Iron Will, $10 super chat. Super sticker. Bam! I'm getting the stickers. That looks like Russian. Heto Yika Hetriboha. Russian. Became a YouTube member. Thank you for joining us. If you're, again, I don't know what language, and I'm sorry if I'm offending you by saying that's Russian. I don't know. There's Stacy Baker. She became a member also. Wow, too many memberships crawling in now. Amy Ackerman Lee. And Susan Szymanski became a member. Susan's been around with me for a long time. I recognize your name quite a bit, Susan. Who's this over here? There's Galveston County Mike. There's Rodney. Rodney gave me 0. He's going, oh. Okay, let me move on. I'll use Rodney to mark my place there. Doug is popular. Do more live streams, Doug. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bump up some of my live stream numbers. Let's get to this read real quick, all right? Or I'm going to be less popular if I don't do my job. How about that? Here we go. Steve Sadow, the lead defense counsel for Donald Trump in Fulton County, Georgia, the election interference case, shared on Sunday his next step to disqualify Fulton County attorney Fani. You guys thought there was just one way to do it, right? Now he's got a next step. Willis has found herself at the center of a political ethics violation related to her alleged affair with special prosecutor Nathan the Hot Dog Wade after the accusations were brought forward by former Trump staffer and co-defendant Michael Roman. This comes amid Willis's case against the former president, in which Trump and 18 blah, blah, blah. They have to go over the entire backstory on every article just in case, in case you're lost. In an attempt to get her disqualified, all this blah, blah happened. I'm going to skip all that. Now we're going to get to the meat of it. Judge McAfee, who is presiding over the election interference case, ruled on Friday that the evidence presented by the defense was legally insufficient to conclude that there was a conflict of interest. However, the appearance of impropriety remains. Now, here's Steve Sadow. This is Trump's big iron lawyer right there. And he's a tough guy, and I like him too. He's a real straight shooter. Here's, in a Sunday post on X, formerly Twitter, Sadow shared that the next legal step in an effort to disqualify Willis will be to ask the court to permit a pre-trial appeal of McAfee's order. Now, guys, I hate being right all the time, but I'm a barely literate comic book artist, and we predicted the appeal. You guys saw it in yesterday's show. They're going to appeal this. And that I even nailed that it was going to be probably Mike Roman. So they don't like what McAfee's decision was. They're going to go, hey, there is mispropriety and we want an appeal. And if it just expands the length of this whole thing, Trump wins. He goes like, yeah, let's drag this thing on. Let's appeal this thing for a year. Okay. So we have an appeal. The appeal's in. Let me see if there's any more information here to shake out, because this might be very short. If not, let's get back in here. Quote, our first goal, our first legal option is to ask the court to permit a pretrial appeal of his disqualification order, he wrote. Sadow's next step comes in response to ex-user Andrew Fisher, who asked, what further legal options to disqualify Fani? What's next? Well, there's a whole lot of them, by the way. They're all lined up from different lines than just Steve Sadow. Sadow previously noted the use of legal options to fight the case, telling Newsweek via email on Friday in response to McAfee's ruling, quote, while respecting the court's decision, we believe that the court did not afford appropriate significance to the prosecutorial misconduct of Willis and Wade, including testifying untruthfully about when their personal relationship began. We will use all legal options available as we continue to fight to end this case, which should never have been brought in the first place. And Newsweek reached out for Sadow for a comment and didn't get jack. According to McAfee's ruling, Willis and her office would either need to step aside. Okay, and you already have Nathan Wade stood down. We already know that he resigned. Sadow now has 10 days from the date of McAfee's order to seek what's called a certificate of immediate review. So look for that. The certificate, if granted, would allow Trump to immediately appeal the disqualification order before trial, likely causing a delay in the case. However, McAfee will be the one to decide whether to grant the certificate of immediate review. Now, I guessed wrong before, and you guys called me out on it when I said I thought Fani Willis was going to get nailed on this one. Okay. And you guys said, Doug, you were wrong. And I said, yeah, you're correct. So I'm going to venture to guess, here goes, that McAfee is going to grant the appeal. Not the appeal, but he's going to give him the permission to seek an appeal. Then they have to go up to the appeals court and still ask their permission. But I don't think McAfee's going to stand in the way because he knows this is on such squirrely ground that he doesn't want to take the heat for it. Now, this is where you guys come in. You can leave your opinion. Tell me I'm wrong, because obviously I've been wrong now quite a few times on this one. Okay, let me get down to some more of your comments here. I got to make sure I don't miss any super chats. And I still got to learn how to do that breakout box so I can hit them all here. Here's Liz Abad, 1964, $20 super sticker. Wow, thank you, Liza. I appreciate that so much. Liza Abad, very kind of you. Hit me with that. Look, there's Abe Fonseca, became a YouTube member. Pretty ideally, I made a bunch of little emojis, little faces and things. You'll get badges. You're going to get it's my face going like and smiling and stuff. You can use as emojis. Lewis Spitzer, $5 super check. Yuma, Arizona, help me. And just so you guys know, when I get enough members, I'll be able to make more emojis. So the more members you have, the more emojis you get. And the idea is to get a ton of you paying $5.99 a month, I think. But remember, we're going to, if it doesn't work out, guys, and if it's no good, if you guys all agree that it's no good, we're going to end it. We'll just stop doing members. But my goal is to keep bumping up special things for members, including, get this, we get to do members only shows where it'll be like a mini meeting of the people that support this channel. That's no pressure. Never experience pressure from me, because 99.9% of my work on this channel is going to everybody. Here's Bill Tweety, I'm sorry. Hey, Doug, fan of your work and keep it up. Thank you so much. I just did a cross politics show for my buddies out in Moscow, Idaho. That's Chocolate Knox, Pastor Toby Sumter, and Gabe Wrench. They let me take over their show for an hour. So those guys are old friends of mine, the Fight, Laugh, Feast guys out there. Let's get back to the rest of this article, see if there's anything else I can scrape out of the bottom of this barrel right after Martin Gingrich, $5 super chat. He donated to Fani. I agree, $150. I believe he will stand with her. It's BS, but I think that's it. Martin, this is where I have trouble with that whole thinking. I agree. McAfee gave her $150, which is dumb and a waste and shows he has an integrity moral problem at the very least. His wife, by the way, gave like $4,000 to Fani Willis in 2 elections. So that points to corruption. But I'm only saying, I don't think McAfee is as good of a lying scumbag as I would be. Because if I was a lying scumbag, okay, I would not allow a $150 donation force me to do anything for Fani Willis, right? You want it to look like, you want it to, if you're a true scumbag and truly covering for her, then you want to make things go well for her agenda. And I would think it would go better for her agenda to remove her from the case and bring in a more stalwart, untarnished district attorney. Because a lot of us on the right are saying, we got the best of both worlds. McAfee didn't can Fani Willis, so we have the worst, most corrupt, ineffective district attorney trying to prosecute Trump, which is hilarious. We have a clown show prosecuting Trump, and that's good. You know what I mean? You don't want to remove her and bring in some giant professional shark who knows how to do public speaking and knows better than to sleep with his grifter people. You know what I mean? So that's why, Martin, I'm a little skeptical of that conspiracy. I kind of go, you know, if she really was a scumbag shark, I think she'd act different. Here's Joseph Kelly, $2 super chat. Truth is so refreshing. My people, 59 minutes presents. We're not quite at 60 minutes. $2 with 59 minutes. Hey, Doug, I'm a cartoonist too, albeit not famous. Well, I'm a famous cartoonist and it pays about the same. So it's cool. And my fellow cartoonists out there, man, I love my art people out there. There's Anna Buffum. She's a new member. Thank you for your membership. I appreciate that, guys. We're trying out memberships. Martin Gingrich, $5 super chat. Never thought of it that way. Makes sense. Yeah, see what I'm saying? It's like when you think like a truly, truly despicable, lying, duplicitous scumbag, I don't know if McAfee would leave her on the case or not, you know? Because she's kind of used up her all the punches on her lunch ticket, you know? She has publicly embarrassed Fulton County, Georgia, and Scott and McAfee, just in kind of throwing her a little bone, has made everyone open their eyes to him and go, look, he could be corrupt. You know, he probably is. So he's tarnished his own reputation for not judging harsh enough on her. Jay Smith, $2 super chat. We love what you do in PA, my Pennsylvania coal country people. I don't know if you guys know this, but my big brother was a coal miner for a while out in Colorado. He broke his neck. He got a little bump under him, right, Jace? A little bump under him, threw him into the ceiling, broke a vertebrae. And so it did not incapacitate him, but it healed. And he goes, you know what? I think I'm done with coal mining for a little bit, if you don't mind, guys. He went 4 miles into the ground, pulled coal out. He's a bigger man than me. His name is Jim, by the way, James. So I named Earthworm Jim after him. Here's Adriano Valentino from Australia, $10 super chat. Thank you, Adriano. Hey, Doug. Trump 2024. Let's go, Brandon. We are, guys. Trump is looking good. You know, I listen to Never Trumpers all the time. I listen to their podcasts. That's where I get a lot of my news from. And it's always encouraging. You know how I like getting my articles from MSNBC? I like getting my news from Never Trumpers because they don't give me any BS. They're trying to paint Trump in the darkest terms possible. And so if there's any good news coming from them, they go, you know what the news is this week, guys, is that they were noticing how in the media, you know, which I do Google searches on Trump all the time, just to see what articles are being thrown out, are being presented to us to brainwash us. Okay. And they said, you know, it's weird because the polls for the last year, you know, the outlier were the polls that had Trump up. And now they said the mainstream polls, especially in the swing states, have fully say Trump is going to win this thing. and the outliers are the ones that say Biden is up. So Real Clear Politics is where I get a lot of my polling data from. I'm going to get a lot more into Real Clear Politics as we get closer to November. I'm going to start presenting you guys with poll after poll. It's a science to it, but Real Clear Politics basically is an amalgamation of polls where it gathers up, say, 100 of them and tell you what the average across 100 of them are, tend to give you more accurate results than if you go to any one where their personal bias can come out. Very easy to manipulate one poll with bias. Very hard to manipulate 100 polls on Real Clear Politics. So we'll get into a lot more of the actual election polling and all that coming up. I see A-Dog up there. Here's Steve Evans. Stephen Evans, $2 super chat. Trump legal team lies. Trump legal team lies fail. Quote, Fani found innocent. Yeah. That is not true. She was not in any way found innocent. McAfee said he did not have enough juice to pursue her, which, you know, there might be a very high threshold on that. There's my guy, A-Dog. A-Dog, $5 super chat. Salute Doug and the chat, guys. The real A-Dog. He's a friend in arms out there doing the good work. Life with Reckless is another one. They're pounding out material, using my material, and I appreciate them, you know, using me. I basically, I become kind of a springboard for them to start a conversation with their audience. Same way that I'm going to Newsweek. You know, I didn't write this Newsweek. Some people are going like, hey, they're stealing from you. They're not. You know, I didn't write this Newsweek article. I use it as a springboard to begin a conversation with you guys about a topic. And they do the same thing. They take my show. It starts the conversation. That's how I see it anyways. And you gotta, you know, if you want to get, you got to give. And I love giving you guys material to work with. I'm very honored to have you guys working with my stuff. Here's Mary Williams, $2 super chat. Quote, all the evidence they could muster, unquote, disturbs me. Yeah, well, they didn't look very hard, did they, Mary? They didn't look hard or for a long time. And McAfee, when there were witnesses coming in and going, hey, we know that Terrence Bradley was lying. And McAfee goes, I don't need to open up the case again to see that stuff. Well, how about now? You're going to open it back up? It's just, it looks really bad. And even McAfee knows it looks bad. Even Fani Willis knows how bad it looks. She knows how bad she looks. She can sit there and straight face tell you, you know, this is, they're after me for my skin color. And everyone's going like, yeah, right. You know, yeah, right. She's going, you know why they're after me? Because I'm trying to go after Trump and he thinks he's above the law. Really? Is that why? You know, no one's buying this stuff, guys. The truth is a bee. The truth is a bee. The truth is a brick wall, and you can try to run through it, and it will beat you upside the head every time. And the truth is a bee for all of us. You cannot work around it. Sooner or later, the truth comes out. And then it's come to Jesus time. Here's JP Murphy, $2 super chat. Yo, Doug, Long Island over here with you. Jay, what is it, Jay? What is it? It's a wicked tuner. It's a tuner, Jay. It's my favorite video of all time. Okay, here's Robin Swiger, $3 super chat. The Beach Report with Billy Cohen. Find Blue interviews. $3 super chat. Okay. Here's Douche Elias, $5 super chat. What? Or is it Douche? I'm sorry. I'm very sorry if that's your real name and I'm totally, or are you making fun of Mark Elias? I swear, I don't want to get into trouble here, guys. Okay. What you've done is disgusting, Fani. But I've found it's not meet the level of it does not meet the level of appalling yet. That's right. That's all McAfee's saying is, look, it's disgusting. It hasn't met the level of absolute Hitler level appalling yet. Okay. Here's TG, $10 super sticker. Thank you for that, TG. I appreciate that. There's Stephen Evans, $2 super chat. Just my dark sense of humor. Yeah. I try to, my sense of humor goes so dark and so inappropriate that I try not to indulge it. But, you know, I hear you guys. I've got a dark sense of humor. Okay. It's very hard to offend me. Very hard. Patty Bilsma. Patty Bilsma became a YouTube member. Thank you guys. See, they're paying their, I think it's $5.99 a month. And you are supporting this channel. It's going to start giving me a subscription for this channel. We're going to start buffing you guys out too. Here's TK 722-31963. That's almost Finn's number, $5 super chat. Fani's real issue is how the state ethics and federal subpoena she may have won. That's right, staying on the case for now, but might be done as a lawyer forever. That is true, guys. Don't forget, we still have like 5 lines of investigations on her. Kemp is investigating her. There's state boards going after her. There's the state bar going after her. Jim Comey, you know, just because this judge rules one way doesn't mean Jim Comey, I'm sorry, Jim Jordan is done with her. They're not done with her. Nothing near it. Here's Bill Hansen, $10 super chat. I found your channel through The Real A-Dog, and I'm a better man for it. That's right. The Real A-Dog has a huge, huge footprint, and I appreciate him for sharing his footprint with us. Here's the $10. Just call me Nina. Okay. See, I look at that collection of letters, and I would never think Nina. Okay, now, I went to public school, California public school. So maybe your way of spelling Nina is different than mine. Thank you, Nina, for the $10 super chat. Just call me Nina. Fani Willis would make an Ayn Rand novel antagonist blush. That is correct. And we love our Ayn Rand jokes out here, our little fountainhead people. Just Me became a YouTube member. Thank you, Just Me. All right, let me get a little more. I'm going to highlight this. This is John Parsons with a lizard alien avatar, which I love, all the lizard alien stuff. Contempt of Congress is what Peter Navarro is going to prison for. That's right. And Peter Navarro is going to the slammer for being on Team Trump. And Trump absolutely needs to spring him on day one. Trump's already said he's going to spring all J6ers. So anyone involved with this stuff, I believe are going to get their records exonerated by Trump. So hopefully Peter Navarro, the persecution he's going, they threw an old man in the clink. I mean, these people are just, these Democrats are scum. This is police level Democrat scum. Although no trial date's been set, Fani Willis's office has asked for the trial to start on August 5th. Guys, Fani Willis thinks this trial is going to start on August 5th. You know, with 18 RICO charges. Okay, Fani. Boy, that's funny. However, Trump's lawyers asked the trial be scheduled for after the general election in November and said that if Trump wins, it would need to take place after he serves his term in office. So that'll be 2028. A whole lot of us are not going to be here by then. According to Ann Bauer, a legal fellow and courts correspondent at Lawfare, who wrote on X on Sunday, even if he does grant the certificate, the Georgia Court of Appeals could still decline to hear her case. That's right. So that's just McAfee can grant a certificate saying, yeah, you know, send it up to the appeals court. Then the appeals court can always say, nope. So there's a number of hurdles Trump's team has to clear in order to appeal. And that's one of the things I want to do, gang. One of the things I want to do is look up this appeals court because I don't know anything about it. So I want to look at who's on the appeals court and who appointed them, and I can tell you if they're political apparatchiks or not. So that's my bigger question is, does McAfee kick this up to an appeals court that's just full of a bunch of Democrat Soros appointments? Let's find out. If anyone in Fulton County, Georgia knows, throw me a line and let me know what the makeup of the appeals court is, because it could definitely be a step down from McAfee. Like literally, it won't do you any good to appeal to a bunch of Democrats. They'll just go, yeah, Fani Willis is awesome and Trump needs to be thrown in prison. Here's Adriano Valentino, Australia, Australian $5, whatever increment of money they use down there. Biden, quote, I sold a lot of state secrets and many important things, unquote. That is true. That is true about Biden. Unknown Moses, $2 super chat. Earthworm Jim was one of my favorite games. Thank you so much. I'm glad you played. We had a lot of fun making that game. It was a lot of work, and it made my entire career in animation. Here's Joel Hodge. Now that's weird. Joel Hodge became a member. I went to college with a guy named Joel Hodge. No, Joel Hodge, I'm thinking of the guy from Mystery Science Theater, Joel Hodge. Is that him? I don't know. No, Joel Hodge. Hodge. Huh. Oh, it's Jeff Hodge was on my VeggieTales crew when I was working on that thing. Here's Just Me, $20. Just Me. Thank you so much. It's very kind of you. Here's Patty Bilsma, $5 super chat. Doug, you're the best. Thank you for all you do for the American cause. We need true news, not the fake news. Yeah, that's why we're all here on alternate news sites. YouTube, Locals, The Blaze, Daily Wire. Name your Alex Jones, Twitter, name your alternate source. We're all out here, Gateway Pundit. We're out here doing it independently, saying, you know what, ABC, NBC, CBS, MSNBC, CNN, you blew it. And in some cases, Fox News. You didn't get the story right. So we'll just be citizen journalists and we'll tell you our opinion on the story. You know, 99, there's not even news. I'm not even reporting facts anymore. Now it's all opinion. So guess what? If they're just going to give your opinion from some rich snot out in New York, why not let me give my opinion? Fine, I'll give my opinion. You know, here's thanks for what you do for the American cause. We need true news, and it takes folks like you who are changing the news game. Now, I'm just one of you. You know what I mean? I'm just a schmo. You guys are all schmoes too. Together, we're all just schmoes. But here's the thing. This is what's great about what I do and what you do, okay, is we hang out together on social media. Now, the rich snots out in New York would not touch any of you with a 40-foot pole. They would not hang with you, spend time with you. They don't think about you. CNN. And do you think Anderson Cooper stays up at night wondering what you think? I care what you think. That's the difference. I'm one of you. We're in this together. We're a symbiotic amoeba-like blob where I'm just one microphone and you guys are in the audience part of the blob and I'm a microphone part of a blob. And all of you come in the chat and you have a microphone too. You get to type in the chat. If you're not typing in the chat, you're doing it wrong, guys. If you're not giving this show a thumbs up, you're doing it wrong. You know how social media works by now, right? You know that everyone has a job. And if you're sitting there watching TV like this is 1972 and you're watching Archie Bunker on All in the Family, and you can't give a thumbs up to a TV and you can't leave a comment at the bottom of a TV show. If you think this is 1972 and you're watching TV, you're doing it wrong. You have to participate. This is social. This is social. I talk to you and then you talk back. You click a thumbs up, you leave a comment, you subscribe, you take this link and you share it with your friends. You talk about it around the water cooler. Of course, we try and give you the information the day before they talk. The other channels all talk about it. We're the day before, the water cooler. Sometimes I can get ahead of some stories. I can't often beat the big news outlets, but I can often beat the internet. Okay. In the case of like Carrie Lake running for Senate, I beat the rest of the world by like 8 months. We called that one. Okay. Here's Antoinette Hunter for $20 super chat. Thank you, Antoinette. I appreciate that so much. Here's the B-level baby with a $10 super chat. Vote McAfee out in May of 24. Now, B-level, I just want to know who's running, because remember, if it's Hitler versus less than Hitler, we vote for less than Hitler. Okay. So McAfee might be the less than Hitler we have to vote for if there's something worse, you know? What if McAfee is running against some psycho Marxist leftist? That's all I want to know, is who's running against him before I throw him under the bus. This compromised judge does not deserve election to a state 4-year term judge. Says B-level. B-level, baby, I'd love to know about who he's running against before I throw him under. He might be the best we got. He might be the Mitch McConnell of judges, the best we got. That is as good as it gets. You know, if you're a Republican running in New York City, you know, you basically have to be a leftist. Very terrible. Here's Deonra Walton, $2 super chat. Thank you, Doug. Thank you so much, Deonra. I appreciate that. You are on the screen. Okay, let's get to, I think I've gotten through all my payments here. I'm almost there. Here's Stephen Evans, $5 super chat. What the law says doesn't matter. It's who says what the law says that matters. Democrats understand this. Yeah, it's true. I mean, the law is only as good as it's being used, you know. There's a guy, there's GJ saying, Doug, Danny Johnson, he knows Tommy Tallarico. I do. I'm very good friends with Tommy Tallarico. Good friend. He's the video game musician on Earthworm Jim. For those of you who don't know, he goes around the country doing video games live, where he rents out orchestras that play video game music for people. So yeah, I'm a good buddy of his. Citizen journalist is a great term. Yeah. Here's Elizabeth F. going home. Oh yeah, she will. James too. Letitia James. They all need to be in prison for their horrendous crimes and collusion with the White House. I agree. Throw those people, those stinkers, in the clink ASAP. Here's D. James, ZW, $2 super chat. Doug in Detroit, boycott Tyson food brands. I'm with you on that. I'm a Foster Farms guy, not Tyson. Tyson makes robot chicken. They're making lab-grown chicken, and they're trying to get you to eat the bugs. I don't know. There's Warren Davidson, $2 super chat. Here's Unknown Moses, $2 super chat. Deep state people call their group the Blob. Yeah, the deep state is very much like a blob, as I recall. Here's Adriano Valentino from Australia, $10 Australia Monopoly money. I don't know what you guys use in Australia. Doug, what's your favorite Biden gaffe? Oh man, there's so many to choose from. My favorite one is "You Ain't Black." I think has to be the ballsiest, rudest, awful thing I've ever heard was "You Ain't Black." There's a lot of others. A lot of his racist ones really cracked me up. Where he's talking about going to the 7-Eleven if you want to meet a Pakistani guy or something like that. He really is just disgusting and hilarious. But I think the "You Ain't Black" do you remember the context of that? That was the God, what's his name? Something the God, Charlemagne. Okay, it has him on his podcast, and Biden tells a black man, if you have a problem, if you don't vote for me, if you're voting for Donald Trump, you ain't black. I mean, you got to think about it for a while, guys. It's the most racist thing. It's in public. And my impression is that Charlemagne de God still voted for a man who said that to him. Now, that tells you how pathetic some people are, like Charlemagne de God. And I'm calling you out, Charlemagne. I hope you watch this show. Come on, buddy. Look me in the eyes. He said, if you vote for Trump, you ain't black. And you still voted for that guy, didn't you? Didn't you, buddy? Aren't you hardcore? Aren't you sticking it to the man? You voted for a rich, white, old racist. You had two guys that you could have voted for. The guy that had the lowest black unemployment in the last 40 years, and you voted against that guy. You went for the guy that looked you in the face and said, you ain't black. I just want Charlemagne to God. I want that to go down for you forever. That's your reputation. There you go. Okay. Also, did you see the debate where Alex Jones, Darren Beattie, Glenn Greenwald roasted loony leftists called, quote, Destiny and the Krasenstein brothers about January 6th? I did not see that one. I have debated Destiny before. There's Big Fani, Cash Money, G. Willis, yo. That's right. That is correct, my people. Let's see. Here's another one. Here's hello from Oregon, says Don. See, my dad always wanted to go to Oregon. I've been up to Grants Pass. I love Gold Beach, too, where I collect those rough-skinned newts, which I keep newts here. They're amphibians underwater. There's Super Hawk, $2 super sticker. Thank you, Super Hawk. Dig that attack helicopter. Well, I don't know military gear enough to know if it's an actual attack helicopter, but I like your helicopter. How's that? There's a happy face from Adriano. Forget about it. Political thumbbrella of the day. Here's Frank Berg, $5 super chat. Thank you for your excellent YouTube channel. Thank you so much, Frank. I appreciate your watching. That's really, it'd be a terrible thing to put on a show and not have anybody watch it. Wamatanye, $2 super chat. Fani Willis will not get her way in the end. I agree. I agree, guys. In the end, like Steve Sadow, the pit bull, is saying, there's so many tentacles and prongs that we can go after her with. They just thought, look, we're going to run Trump through this meat grinder and we're going to get him. We're going to throw him in prison. Trump, he may go to prison on other cases, okay? I think the one that Trump is the most guilty of is probably the documents case. And he has a sympathetic judge on that. He has Aileen Cannon, okay? And the only reason why I'm saying he's the most guilty on that one is because the National Archives demanded he give back his documents and he said no, okay? He flat out said no. So on that one, they might find some guilt. But still, he shouldn't go to prison. They should not be allowed to pursue him if they don't pursue Biden for doing the same thing. But I'm just saying on that one, he said no. Okay. Here's Norman Smith, $5 super chat. Great info and analysis, Doug. Guitar music on my channel. If you ever have time to check it out, that's Norman Smith, guys. $5 super chat for some great guitar music. I love me some guitar. I can't play it, but I wish if I could play an instrument, I'd just play it all day on a YouTube channel, just like you, Norman Smith. How's that? Mountain Goddess, $5 super chat. Who are you friends with on YouTube that we would recognize? Oh, wow. Look at that. Well, I came out of comic books. So you'd probably recognize Nerdrotic and those guys, Geeks and Gamers, Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, my buddy Mike Miller. I have just a lot of kind of comic book guys in my art past on YouTube. And then let's go to, the politics guys. There's Q. Quentin is one of my closest friends on, he's Truthville, USA. He used to be Out of the Darkness. We all got our stuff canned long ago. Behizzy Masader, CanCon. Neil Johnson is one of my very good friends. Neil Johnson and I talk to each other on the phone most days. Same with Q and I. Nick Rekieta is another one on the legal side. He did a lot of Amber Heard stuff, so I know Nick Rekieta well. I know Dick Masterson, these kind of bomb-throwing anarchist guys I'm friends with. A lot of those guys. Who else would do I know that I show up on a lot? Guys I talk to regularly, I would say, is probably Q. Michael Gavlak, who did Sweet Home Maricopa. back in the day, is a good friend of mine. We do a locals channel together also. A lot of my other stuff that I do online, you guys don't see because it's on other channels, or very small channels that no one's ever heard of. You know, they may be on a tiny channel that I show up on. My channel is big, but other people's channel, if I go over there, it doesn't mean their channel suddenly gets big. So those are some of the YouTube names you might recognize, but I've had them all on my show before. I've had Maddox on my show. I've had Justin Wang on my show. I've had the Drunken Peasants on, you know, I do a lot of work on Drunken Peasants where I debated Destiny. I've debated Vaush. I've debated all these kind of internet B-level celebrities. Who else do we have here? There's the TK 722-31968, $5 super chat. 16 Georgia appeals court judges. One of them is from Fulton County. Many are appointments by Republican governors. Just have to worry about Trump derangement syndrome. That's good information, TK. Thanks a lot, guys. I asked him to go fishing for me to find out about the appeals court and who appointed them. Because if McAfee agrees to allow Mike Roman to appeal this decision of Fani Willis not being removed, it could go up to an appeals court. And then we find out if they're corrupt or if they're good. And if they're good, it could be that McAfee is going, look, I can't handle this. I'm 36 years old. I'm just a kid. I'm a child. I have my whole future in front of me. I want someone bigger to handle this. And he sends it up to the appeals court. Maybe we have some sympathetic, good, quality people up there. Maybe something. Okay, let's get up here too. There's Michelle Hooten, $2 super chat. Thank you so much, Michelle. There's Swellest Spice, $5 super chat. Thank you, Swellest. There's Eileen Sherman, $20 super chat. Super sticker, sorry about that. And then we have a new one here. This is Robert Rondholtz, $20 super chat. I appreciate all your hard work, Doug. Thank you so much, guys. Just so you know, here's a little behind the scenes stuff for you guys. You know, I work at least 8 hours a day on my channel, at least 8 hours a day. And it's at least 6 days a week. In this case, on a Sunday, this is 7 days a week. I usually do not work on the Sabbath. But today I just wanted to get kind of a live connection with all you all today while I was doing another show and sitting at this desk. I went ahead and turned it back on. But usually I don't do Sunday work. I usually hang with my family. My kids went back to college. My daughter went back to college. So I was mourning. So I'm spending my time with you guys because now I'm lonely because one of my daughters went back to school. My other daughter's going back to Lipscomb tonight too. So I lose $2. My son's out at Covenant College, and I got another son in high school who's staying at home. He's the baby. There's Florida Brent, $20 super chat. Thank you, Florida Brent. Here's another membership with Pablo 6861 became a member. Thank you, Pablo. I'm gonna crack into that membership stuff and see what we can do together, what the big deal is. So first, I'm just launching it, and YouTube is happy that I launched the membership side. They're really pushing membership. So I go, okay, fine, I'll try it. They go, just turn it on. So I did some real quick emojis, turned it on. There, I started. Now we're going to look, they're staying in Mexico. Joe Biden, stay in Mexico. There's hello from San Diego, Bella, Enzo, my people in San Diego. I'll be out there this summer. You know, I spend usually the last 2 weeks in July in San Diego because there's Comic-Con out there. We go to a condo in Del Mar and I just eat Mexican food for 2 weeks. And that's where Ange and I, the beloved Miss Tenaple and I first met in 1990. Well, we met in 88. We got married in 90 in San Diego. So we have a ton of friends that have been in San Diego for 30 years. I love the beach. I spend every day in the ocean when I go there. We surf in Del Mar and body surf, snorkel. I've done scuba diving there too. But San Diego is where our family is, it's our very special yearly trip. Right before we wrap this up, Adriano Valentino, Australia, $10. Doug, why don't you run for Congress? You'd be really good. You'd kick ass. You know, first of all, I don't want to know what people would say about what they would find on my Twitter. My Twitter would be horrifying if I ran, because that's a blood sport if you run. And the other thing is just being a person who does the day-to-day work, you know, the day-to-day job stuff of fundraising and running a state and doing oversight. That is not a job that I like. You know, I like creating. This is a performance for me. So this is very much like being a public performer figure. I love the idea of doing a daily podcast and daily on camera. The idea of going on some board or panel or being a congressman would probably kill me. So, but I appreciate it. That's a very fine compliment of you to say. And now we're going to wrap up this show, guys. Now you have the exclusive on what Steve Sadow says is next. You know, the bottom line is there's a lot that's going to take Fani Willis down. Fani Willis, if I had to guess, she's not staying on this case, guys. Just because she had one tiny guy. Remember, all this came from nowhere. Okay. Mike Roman pulled this out of his pocket and goes, Fani Willis had a something affair. And then everyone's like, what? That was in January. And look, it took all this time to gum up and resolve. This came from nowhere. And guess what else is in Fani Willis's past? I mean, she is caked in corruption. That whole office is caked in corruption. That state is caked in corruption. They're going to find so much more stuff on her, guys. It's not over. And that's not even wishful thinking. I mean, the board can still come out. The legal state bar can come out and go, you know, we have a different standard than the court does. We don't have to find her guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. We can come in and just, as we're the state bar, and just go, look, this is not living your life beyond reproach. This is inappropriate. You cannot practice law in this state. That's what they did to Sidney Powell. Heaven forbid they do it to a Democrat like this girl that has Teflon, this Fani Willis gal. There's media will do whatever it takes to cover her corruption. Now, that is true. And the media just looks dumber and more embarrassing the more they cover for her. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I do have some links in the description. I have a link to my store. Have you guys ever seen my comic book store? Let's show that off real quick. Let me see if I can show. I'm going to do a screen share here and show you. You guys may not know, I've done 20 books. And I just started linking my store to these shows, but there's the Doug in Exile bookstore. But look, these are long form, hardbound. These are giant hardbound books. This is the one I'm probably that you'd probably like the most. This is called The Making of Earthworm Jim, written by me. It's got a ton of text. It's got a ton of my story of Earthworm Jim. $35 hardbound. It's huge. These are huge brick-like books. These are the comics. You can get 2. This is only for rich people. I don't want to hear you poor people, you know, giving your last paycheck to me for a comic book. Okay. These are handsome. These are coffee table books. These are family appropriate. These are printed in the U. I only do my printing in the USA. So I'm really proud of these books, but that's in the description. Then you'll also see, sometimes you can follow me on Twitter. There's Doug in Exile on Twitter, but that's not as big of a deal. And of course, we now have a join button next to the subscribe button where you can become a member of this show. Adriano, Australia, $10 super chat. Better doing this great content. The world needs more great voices like you, Doug Trump 24. Let's go, Brandon. Thank you so much for that, Adriano. I do feel like the most important thing I can do right now with my life, my ministry, my political stuff, and my talent is to get Trump elected. I have one goal right now, and that is to get Trump elected. Okay. It's not to make him out to be an angel. It's not whatever. But if I can defend Trump, his agenda, and some of his allies and some good Republicans that he also needs help with, some senators, he needs help with people in the House, he needs help with Supreme Court. If I can defend that And then if I can go and attack his enemies and go after some terrible leftists and start taking them down a notch, then that's my job right now till November. We'll talk about, and I try and do it through entertainment. So we're trying to be entertaining. There's Swellest Spice, $5 super chat. Hello, Doug. I love your videos. I have a gaming channel, and any help is appreciated. That's Swellest Spice. I'm going to assume that's a gaming channel. Is Swellest Spice. Bob White, WO3B, has just become a member. Thank you, Bob. Thanks for joining. The Doug Club is what we call it. Doug Club. Right now, there's to join the Doug Club. I think it's like a $5.99 is the minimum. We're going up from there. I'm going to try and get some serious money shaken down from some, not that I need it, guys. Don't get me wrong. There's Michelle Houghton, $20 super chat. Great work, Doug. I love it when you mix with biblical truth. Yeah, I'd love to do more Bible work also, but there's only so much time in the day, man. So I try and fit it in here and there. If I can preach the gospel to y'all and get y'all to repent, that's my other job as a Christian, is to get y'all to repent. This has been, remember, this is where the happy patriots are. Never let them take your smile. Show off your happiness. It's like a poker face. We show them, you didn't get me down. You didn't win, Fani Willis. Didn't work. You can run all these lawsuits against us. You can try and tear my country apart. You can try to tear my church apart. And look at my smile. Try and take my family apart. Try it. Come get me. And I'm going to laugh in your face with this great big smile because I'm the happiest patriot that I know. I'm Doug in exile. Oh.